Alright guys, it's Ed again. Welcome back to Rusty Resurrections. And yes, that is a jet engine you hear in the background. So hopefully you guys will be able to hear me. And we won't have to go to auxiliary microphone and then try to merge it together. Which I haven't quite figured out yet. But anyway, what we're going to work on today is my old Harbor Freight bead roller. It is, I figured it out, it's going on 20 years old I've had this thing, and I've modified it, actually back when I first got it, because it didn't perform as I wished it would, so I beefed it up, but I beefed it up with the equipment that I had at the time, and I had a Campbell Housefield MIG welder, you know, flux cord, Walmart jobby, and I did not have enough power in the shop that I was working on. Actually, I didn't have any power in the shop I was working in. I had a generator, the same generator that I have, and I was running the MIG welder off the generator, and that just didn't make enough heat. And I'll show you what we got to do here first before we make the modification to the bead roller, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay guys, I got the grinder out here. We're going to clean up some of these atrocious bubble gum welds, get rid of these a little bit, knock them down, and then I think we're going to hit her with the stick. I could use the MIG, but I think the stick is the way to go. That's better. Plus it cleaned it up a little bit. We'll get in here and we won't have to weld the whole length of it because we might get distortion. So I'm just gonna take and just build them up better, and we'll do that with the stick. If we can get to the stick. Now, I do not claim to be a master welder, so if it turns out terrible, it is what it is. But I think it'll look better than what I started with. So let's see if we got an arc here. Got no ground. Got my cord twisted about 3 times. Try again. Oh yeah, we got arc there. Okay, I got to adjust my shield here a little bit because that's a little bright. See if that's any better. I've had too much coffee this morning. She's a little shaky. Come on, dirty. Got a little better after I got going. fogged up my mask. It's cold out here. Like that old weld. I can't see where I am. A little better. My glasses are even fogged up. Not pretty, but they'll work. Little gob at the end. We're going to try, this is 6013. I think that was 6011. Usually, it's just kind of mixed up in the box, it's whatever. And it's been outside here in the garage. It's not dry or anything, so we'll blame it on the rod if it looks like crap. And there's paint on it. Dropping stuff. Okay, it's still kind of ugly, but it's better than it was. Where'd my hammer go? I should put some along the inside in here. Probably, since I did on the other side, right? Well, if you haven't sneaked a peek, you can see what our power source is going to be. There's a couple videos online on YouTube and you can check them out. And they use these things for all kinds of powering equipment, from you know, bead rollers to tubing benders and tubing rollers, and I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So just look them up and see. Now, I tried to learn as much as I could from what some guys did to make this thing work better, but this is what it comes with. This is your factory arm. And the shaft, I got to be careful because this sucker's hot still, is a D shaft. So the shaft is, it's got a flat spot milled on one side of it. So the set screw right here can lock it on. I plan on kind of using the same premise. I would think that it would hold with a set screw, because this holds with a set screw and you can put a lot of force. That's probably a good 12-inch long arm. So this machine here, I'm not sure how much torque it has, but I watched it online and they seem to work very well. So basically, hot little booger. All we're going to do is we're going to try to adapt something so we can put this machine on that shaft. Seen a couple different ways, and we know which way's top. This is the top of the machine. So what I think I'll do is I'll hang it off the edge of the bench. Like I said, this thing is hot. Oh, that might work right there. You guys might be able to see kind of what we're doing there. And what I want to do is basically mount this somehow. It's got forward and reverse, you know, it's got a pipe threader, so it goes, right here is the switch. So you can go forwards or backwards with it. And somehow we got to come up with a way, thinking this way, to mount this, because this plate steel here, if I extend it, it might work. So if you look, I've got plate steel welded on the back of this. I think you put it on here, I might be able to even put a rod in there and it could hold it. Probably would. But because there's a hole right here, and that's what that's kind of designed for, is to keep it steady. So you can put a piece of solid round bar or a big ass bolt through there or something like that might work. Okay, so next step, you got to find, this thing comes with all kinds of different sizes of pipe threaders. So you want to find the one that's the closest. So I decided that the 3/4 NPT seems to be about the closest to fitting on the shaft. But it's got a lot of play. And I want to make sure it's centered. So I did do a little prep. I made a little sleeve. This is made out of just a piece of like I think it might have been a mop or something, a metal mop handle. Actually I got a piece over here, just a, so you see here, just a, and it's got a piece of wood jammed in it. I don't know, oh, you know what it was? I think I made an extension for a wooden handle, or I think I had a wooden rake handle that broke and I just put this piece of pipe over it. Real simple. I hacked off a piece just with a hacksaw, took the hacksaw, laid it on edge, cut a groove in it, had to open it up a little bit, but that's okay. And then we'll slide right over. You can see now, that goes over the edge. And then this fits snug as a bug. That works out pretty darn cool. So I like that. But now the hard part. This is where I'm stuck right now and I got to do some thinking. I want to use a set screw to put this on. Now the tricky part is if I do it this way and I leave this cutter alone so you can still use it. You know me, I'm cheap. I'd like to be able to remove the tool and still use the tool kind of as it's intended if I ever needed to thread pipe, I guess, even though I do have a manual pipe threader, big one. I could use it as that. So I'm kind of trying to make it so you can still keep the functionality of the pipe threader. So anyway, that fits really good. But we got to come up with a way, because we can't set the set screw while this is plugged in. Now I'll show you if you haven't seen this before. Inside here, there is basically a snap ring. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a black, there you go, you might see it right there. Black snap ring in there. It flops around. And when you stick this thing in, you see it's got like little grooves cut in it. And you stick it in from either side, I think. And it just kind of clips in there and it stays put. Because it's tapered, it catches in the groove and it stays in there. Now, if you want it out, just push on it, pull, whatever, and it comes right out. If you want it on the other side, you can put it in from the other side too, and it works the same. And then you pop it out. So that's pretty cool that it does that. The problem is if I put a set screw in this, okay, drill it, I don't have a lot of meat. See, that's only maybe 1/8 inch, and that's what, maybe two quarter 20 threads. So I don't really want to do that. So I may weld a nut on the top of this and maybe go to a 5/16 tap and tap it out for 5/16. That's a little bigger thread, a little bigger bowl. As long as the head of, or set screw, because I got to use a set screw, as long as the head doesn't stick up any higher than these ears, you know, the boss or whatever you want to call it, the nut that I weld on here, it should clear. And even if I had to grind it a little bit, I could grind the head of the nut down. So I got an idea for that. And I don't think it'll interfere with anything, because these are what actually catches, and these just sit in on the flats. So I need to figure out a way to do this without cutting it. The easiest way would be to just cut this off right here, and then you could slide it on, and it would probably stay there. Especially if you put that bolt through the handle like I talked about up here. If you put that bolt through right up in here or whatever, that would kind of hold it on. I don't know what to do. We got to make a decision. There's really no way to do it without cutting that off. So I think we're going to cut it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I could cut it with the Evolution saw, but I'm not sure how I would hold it. So I'm kind of stuck with that. I thought about taking it down and putting it in the milling machine and milling it down, but that would take a month of Sundays. So I just thought I'd clamp it in a vise here and give it a quick cut with the old hackety hacksaw. So this means anybody could do this. You don't have to have a milling machine, or you don't have to have anything fancy. And it actually cuts pretty good, and this blade is junk. So, but it cuts pretty good. I'm already down through the first web. I kind of started it, but it's cutting. Trying to keep it as tight as I can to the Man. Crooked is the problem. Once it goes crooked, it doesn't want to come back. There we go. Sort of. Good enough. We got it. You can see it got going a little wonky on me. But it's off. Let's go grind it up. Beautiful. Wonder if it's hot. What do you guys think? Yep. It's hot. Let me get a round file, just clean up them burrs. Beautiful. Guess what? It's still hot. Still hot? Oh yeah, it's still hot. Okay, so let's put her back on here. I'm putting it, it's got a slight taper towards this outside edge, so I think that would be the easier way to get it on. I don't know. So, this should fit. There you go. There it goes on. Then the machine, like this, maybe, which way's top? Actually, it's going to go this way. That's it. That's pretty easy. I like it. All we got to do is set screw that on there. I've got a good 1/4 of an inch up here. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So we just got to get it tapped out. I'm thinking a 5/16 would give us a little more than a 1/4. Even though the actual dies are held on with like quarters, they're metric. I don't know. What would that be? 6 millimeters? Probably 10mm head. Something like that. But yeah, no, I like that. That's pretty cool. And I think we could pretty relatively easily just set it up here quick like this. Could probably set it the other way too. Oh, that would catch. Yeah, I could actually just put a bolt right through here and it would catch it. That'd be simple. Yeah, simple. You guys want to see what I'm talking about? Oh. You see this hole? Just weld a stud right to the back of this steel plate and bada bing, bada boom. You're done. It's even got a headroom. I could actually use a bolt. Just pop a big old bolt in there, weld the snot out of it, and that would hold it on there. I like it. It's a lot easier than all these gears and stuff. I've seen guys put like bicycle sprockets and all kinds of crazy stuff. I guess this still goes a little fast, but it works. pretty, you know, goes with a lot of power. Guy ran some like 2-inch or 3-inch square tubing through a big tubing bender, and it didn't do very good, and it really made the machine work, but it didn't. So what can you say? Okay, so let me put a mark in here, and I'm just going to weld that on, and then I'm going to weld a nut and make a set screw and call it done. That's easy, even for thinking about it. So, and you should be able just to remove it, just like that. Comes right off. I'm not sure if it'll fall off while using it. What I might do is when I weld the bolt through here, I'll put the bolt through. It'll have the head on this side welded to the roller, and I'll put a nut, you know, just as a safety precaution in case, you know, it got working and it cranked or something. Maybe it fall off. I don't want this thing hitting the floor, because this is just cast aluminum and Harbor Freight quality. You know, might not be too good. So anyway, yeah, cool. Let me get a mark on this thing here. Which way was top again? This is top. I don't want to hit the back of this. I'm going to give it a little bit of room. I would say if I welded a 1/2-inch bolt or so, or whatever I got laying around, right about there, I think we'd be good. Okay, so this is what I come up with. Had to go down cellar in my other hoard, and I found a stud. I'd rather had a head on it, but a little easier to keep flat when you weld it. But we'll set it up over there in the welding area, and we'll zip that sucker on there. Okay, so we got a little magnet set up here, holding it perpendicular to the surface, hopefully. And now we're gonna try to stick it on here. Of course, I didn't grind it or nothing. Get it from this side. This way. I think that'll work. Want to cool down a little. Give her a test fit, see if we got it welded on in the right place. It's going to go this way. Seems alright to me. It's got a little wobble to it, you know, because of the bolt. But if you guys can see what we did, it's got a bolt here on it, stud, and then we'll get a big washer. Put a big washer on it, put the nut on it. That's a little safety. So just in case it wants to jump off, it can't jump off. I like it. Now all we got to do is lock this insert to the shaft, and I think we'll be ready to run some metal. Okay guys, we've got the adapter plug. We've got a tap, 5/16 by 18 course. Ran up to the hardware store, 45 cents. And we've got a 5/16 18 set screw. We've also got a nut, 5/16 nut. So all we got to do is drill a hole in this thing and thread it, and then kind of put it together. I think I'm just going to put a bolt in it to kind of hold it together so I don't screw up the set screw, and then weld it, and then run the set screw down through it. That's the plan, at least. So I may knock the paint off this one. Okay, so we got the correct size drill bit for that 1/4 or 5/16 tap. I'm just gonna kind of wing it. There we go. You can even put a little Earl on it if you want. It's pretty thin. That's why I'm thinking the nut would be a good way to go. Huh. Well, that's kind of interesting. It will not go in there. I know that's the right size drill. Come on. Well, there's a trick to this. You'd think being so thin that it would be relatively easy. That seems to be working a little better. So I try to go ahead a few turns, you know, half a turn and back it up. And it feels like, it looks like it's crooked. There we go. Finally. That's crazy to tap some threads in. It's not that good at steel. Think hot. Looks to be a little warm. We've got the nut welded on. I just ran the tap down through it just to make sure that everything was in a line and there wasn't any burrs or anything, and That works good down through it. So we should be able to run the set screw in. Put it in the right way. The only thing I think I might have done different is I'm not sure if this is going to cause a problem with the snap ring catching. It shouldn't, because it catches on the outside edges, but I don't know if it drops in and it'll catch this nut thing that I welded on. So I did grind the nut down a little more than I probably would have, just in case, but we're going to give her a try. Set screw works great, got plenty of meat, so let's spin this around so you guys can see. You want to bring the flat spot up so you can see it. We're going to put the slice in the spacer right on the D, so it's still going to be able to impact the flat. This is going to go on there this way, maybe. Should. Okay. Bring the set screw down. It's good and tight. Now, the moment of truth. Will this ring clear this thing? Otherwise, I could take the hacksaw and put a little groove in it to make it perfect. So I can hang it off this side. Okay, feels pretty good. Make sure we figure out which way it goes on again. Should go this way. Kind of line it up with the... Okay, we do have a problem. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, there she goes. Yeah, it jumped right on. And it's on there. I mean, it might be affecting it, that ring, a little bit. Because it doesn't take much to get it off. But that's what the safety ring is for. A safety nut. Put that on there. Put a big washer on it. That'll keep it there. Let's bolt it back onto the table, and we'll give her a whirl. I'm kind of jonesing to see it work. This is what we've come up with. We've got the wheel, or the pipe threader on the roller. Right now, this thing has a throttle, or trigger lock, I guess we call it. So I'm just going to bypass that right now. Eventually, I'll take this handle apart and we'll rewire that, but we'll do that in another video and show you how to hook it up so it'll run that way. But I will show you here just quick. Pretty good. So let's we'll use the wire to kind of just jerry-rig the trigger open, and we'll find a piece of tin and see what we can roll here. I just got my edge rollers on right now. Okay, so what I got here, guys, is a piece of 20 gauge and kind of a mangled piece of galvanized. That's probably good 16 gauge. That's pretty thick stuff. Maybe 18. Actually, I could probably tell you precisely. I have a tool. Let's see what it is. Instead of guessing. I'm thinking probably 18. 18 is pretty good. 19 fits. 20 does not fit very well. So I wouldn't say it's 20 gauge at all. So it's probably like 18. Now this should be 20 gauge. Yeah, that's 20 gauge. That fits quite nicely. So that's a piece of 20. This is what I normally use for doing fenders and patching up doors and whatever. This is a little bit thicker. This might be used for a floor. I do have some 16 gauge back there. So let me get it around here. Get you guys on the business end so you can see maybe what it does. Okay, let's fire her up. I'm not sure what I got this set at. Okay. A little tight. Okay. Run that right through, no problem, just single roller. A little fast still. Gotta watch your fingers, it'll suck them through. You guys see what we're getting? Let's try the heavy stuff. Walked it right through there pretty good. Now I got it stuck. I got being silly. But you can see that it definitely did the job. And it followed a crazy little line. And it even got stuck and it didn't stall out. So, tested fine. I think we're in business. So, anyway, I want to thank all you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing to the Rusty Resurrection channel. And I'm pretty stoked that it's working pretty good. So not that hard at all to make it. So anyway guys, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.